There is a chimpanzee who is crazy and wants to kill other animals. He first killed a bear, who was a businesswoman. The reason he did it was because she was very bossy. He does not like bears that are bossy. The chimpanzee used a knife and cut off her head. The chimpanzee bought the knife from a friend who is a beaver. The beaver is a butcher. The chimpanzee called his friend the beaver for help. He wanted to buy a knife that was very good. The beaver said he has one that he uses to cut pork chops, pot roast, and potatoes. The chimpanzee chose to buy the knife from the beaver. Now the chimpanzee wants to kill a camel. This time he does not want to use a knife but a spoon. The chimpanzee decided to use the spoon he uses to cook when he wants to cook pork chops, pot roasts, potatoes, and pretzels. The chimpanzee wants to kill the camel that is a carpenter because he is artistic. He doesn't like it when camels are artistic. He is jealous that the camel can draw better than him and is more artistic. He took the spoon and killed the camel and put the camel on the stove to cook him. He uses the tablespoons to measure how much salt he needs to cook the camel. He has to be very calm when cooking the camel to do a good job. He puts the camel on the table to eat the camel. He thinks it is very tasty. Now the tablecloth is dirty and he has to clean it. There is a deer who is a chef and a cashier. He has two jobs so he can make more money. He heard what happened to the bear who was a businesswoman. He heard what happened to the camel that was a carpenter. He decided he needs to stop the chimpanzee from killing other animals. The deer goes to the beaver who is a butcher to buy a knife. The beaver says he has a great knife that he uses to cut pork chops, pot roast, potatoes, and even pretzels. The deer has to be very brave to stop the chimpanzee. The deer calls his boss, who is very bossy, to ask if he can leave work early so he doesn't have to work being a cashier and a chef that night. His boss says that if he buys him pork chops, pot roast, potatoes, and pretzels, he won't have to work. The deer says yes. He goes home and puts the knife on the table and puts away the tablecloth. He cooks his dinner on the stove using a spoon to make his rice. He uses the tablespoon to measure how much butter to put in the rice. After he eats, he takes his knife and finds a chimpanzee. He has to be very calm and brave because he knows the chimpanzee is very fast. The deer chooses to wait and try to kill him when the chimpanzee is closer. He waits while the chimpanzee is buying pork chops, pot roasts, potatoes, and pretzels. When the deer is ready, he kills the chimpanzee.